Hi everyone, welcome to the second episode of Chef Tales with Sarah. As you already might know, I host this show to bring around to you some amazing chefs from all over the world who are professional chefs who have a lot of experience, and we come here, we discuss their journeys, their inspirations, their struggles, and also some tips from them. Today, for our second episode, we have a very special guest for you. She's a female professional chef, and that's something I love because I'm a female myself, and I definitely would like to endorse more females. She is actually from Pakistan, and she's worked at Intercontinental Fujairah Resort in UAE. She's trained at SCAFA. She's the owner since 2014 of Inside the Box Boutique Bakery. She's also a pastry chef and instructor at SCAFA Lahore at the moment. So let's have Chef Tehniyat Shahzad on our show tonight. And I'm just waiting for her to send me a request so I can have her live for all of you to have a little chit chat session with. And we'll just wait till she sends us a request and we can have her live. Then you can ask your questions also in your comments, and we can all
Hi, Sarah.
Hi Tehniyat, how are you?
I am good. How about you? Is this fine, or do I need to like sort of put the screen
No,
that
no,
way?
no. Only it's a bit of a problem with my camera. How are you today?
Okay. I'm really good. I was hearing all that intro, and that sort of made me I that was true. Thank you so much.
No, no, you deserve all the praise. You worked hard for it.
That's so sweet. Thank you so much.
So, Daniel, where do we begin from? What is your journey been like? What all happened? What inspired you? And where did you start off from?
So I'd rather say my journey started when I was studying in London. So this might come across as weird for some people because I did my master's in biomedical sciences. And now when I tell people that I switched to culinary, the first question that I get all the time is that like what happened? Why did you switch? So I feel like that is something I have to answer all the time. But anyway, so yeah, there I used to cook a lot. I used to bake a lot. It just I realized this is something I really enjoy doing. Other than the study part, I used to just come back to my apartment, grab a couple of ingredients on the way, and then just like cook. And it used to be like my me time. I enjoyed it a lot. And then even when I came back to Pakistan, I
That would
continued
make
doing.
you relax and all.
Absolutely, it's like it's therapeutic in a way that after like a day of full on studying, so you come home in your kitchen and that's your like nice time cooking, baking, and yeah, it's lovely. So anyways, that
I can
I think is
completely
when
relate to that.
you can, yeah, it's I'm
Yeah,
sure.
it's the same for me.
Yeah. So so that happened, and then I think when I came back, I continued doing that. And the first people that you really experiment your food on is your friends and family. So I made like a bunch of different,
Definitely, definitely.
and yeah. So they just like they were the ones who sort of like kind of inspired me to start my own thing. Initially, I was a little skeptical, obviously, to be honest, because that wasn't my field really. But then I thought like, okay, why not give it a try? Why not give it a shot? And then I started my own page. Ever since then, yeah, like 5 years back, more or less. And during my
So
journey,
then,
um,
how did you? What did you start the page with? What all were you offering at that time?
honestly, Sarah, at that time I had like a couple of sorry, items on the menu only. So my brownies was something that I had. Really crazy with the first menu. So it was like 4 or 5 items, brownies, cakes, and that's about it. Yeah.
And then what next? I mean, you started the page, you started the inside the box boutique bakery, but then what happened next?
So, well, I think my first few months went really well because obviously word of mouth, and then my friends told their friends, family sort of told everybody else that order from this particular bakery. It's new in town. So I got a couple of a lot of orders actually when I started off, and then it sort of became really slow. When people know about something and then they order, then they sort of forget about you because they're forced to order from you. But then after got a little slow, and I also didn't pay much attention to it. But then that is when I realized that I need to up my skills a little bit. Maybe consider doing some sort of a culinary course, and that is when Scaffa came into this entire thing. So like a friend of mine, she told me that there's a school here, Scaffa. So at that time I thought it was in Dubai only, because they recently opened up in Lahore. It was relatively
Yeah.
new. I think they had been like just 1 year since they opened up. And I
And
remember,
they
I still
hadn't
clearly.
marketed it quite well. I remember they hadn't advertised at all. So, even I was one of the first students, and I only also found out because I was crossing that area where they had the board, and I saw it, and I was like, oh, it opened up here, so I don't have to go to Dubai for this.
Wow. Oh, you went to Dubai for your course?
No, I didn't. So I
Wow.
I was initially planning to, and then I saw the
Okay.
board, and then we got in touch, and then I was one of their first students myself.
Wow. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, so you were like the pioneer of
The
Scaffold.
first
That's
batch,
amazing.
yes.
That's amazing. I probably the fifth, sixth batch, not really sure, but yeah. So I still remember that is the moment I walked in. I'm sure Chef Sam was there, and he introduced us. He showed us around, and then my dad was like instantly, just go ahead, just do it. Because we initially thought that we'll just go around, check the place a bit, and then make a decision later. And he was like, no, why wait? Just register yourself. So I was like, fine. So the next thing I know, after a week, I was enrolled in the pastry program, and ever since then I loved every bit of it. It was so amazing. I think Scaffa really opened up a new lots of new avenues for me, because I realized there's so much more to pastry than just making cakes and brownies at home. So there's so much more to it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think
After that,
when you really join a culinary school, that's the time that you really understand what's the science behind things, and why are we doing a particular technique in a particular way. When we're just
yeah,
practicing recipes at home, it's a completely different feeling. And then a lot of people, how they message me on my page, my brownies didn't turn out fine, my cake was, it sunk in the middle, but you need to know why did it sink, or what did you do, where did you go wrong. So it's like the whole science that needs to be studied.
that's so true. Now, I think you also being a chef, myself. So if something goes wrong in the kitchen, then you instantly know, okay, where did I go wrong? So what could I have done it
Exactly.
better to make the product good? So that I think is really nice. That to be able to know that, that's amazing. And I
It
think
is.
we
It
got
is.
that from Scaffa only.
So, what did you do, Tanit, after you finished your course, and did you then join Intercontinental Fujairah Resort, or was that before?
No, so while I did the course, it was a 3 month long professional course, and every other day, I was so inspired by it that I wanted to go for the kitchen course as well, because the kitchen students, they just used to make us jealous, bringing delicious food upstairs every day, and then we're like, okay, then I was like, I should do that course as well. So I opted for that as well. So basically did my menu, because all that I learned, I wanted to sort of incorporate in my dishes in my menu. So I made a really nice menu right after my course, and that did really well. So I think it was, if I'm not wrong, around 7 to 8 months later on that SCAFA found the training for me. They decided to send me to Intercon Fujairah, which at first I was again a little skeptical because it was a 6 month long program, and then you'll be living there on your own. And but in a kitchen environment, I had no idea how practical kitchen was like, because at SCAFA I feel like they really sort of they treat you really nicely, unlike in a
It's very
practical kitchen
sheltered. The environment is
where
very
you're
sheltered. We're losing signals a little bit from your end.
yeah, yes. It's And then I think it was like 7 8 months after my course, I went for the training, and that was really nice. It was really stressful. Honestly, it was very stressful, but it was really nice. Like, it was a very good experience. I got to learn a lot, and you get to meet a lot of different people as well, because it's an international resort. So like different chefs are coming in from all over the world. So you get to meet them, learn a lot of
And
things
there's
from
a lot
them.
of learning.
Absolutely. It's so much that you can learn. So yeah, that was a really nice experience there at the um, hotel. And then as soon as I came back, I then went on to um, do some consultation, some menu development for a couple of restaurants. So that was really nice as well. Again, a different experience altogether. So that had been happening all this time, and at the same time I was running my own bakery too, side by side.
And then you decided to also join SCAFA as an instructor. And currently you're their pastry chef, right?
Currently I'm working at SCAFA as their pastry chef instructor. Yeah,
So the pastry is where your heart is, I believe.
100%. There's no doubt. There's no doubt whatsoever. It's always free over kitchen, like no questions asked.
That's wonderful. Then, yet, when you were at the Intercontinental Fujairah, how was it working? How were your working hours? How was it working away from home, away from family? And what sort of lunch breaks did you get? And I mean, how was the entire experience? Like, what was your daily one day and in a professional kitchen like?
Um, so basically, I used to wake up at about like 5 o'clock in the morning every day, because then you have to report at the in the kitchen. You get like so my accommodation from the hotel was about 15 minutes
Okay.
by bus. So you go there, then you quickly get to change. You have like 15 minutes to change, and at like 5 o'clock up, you reach there 5:15, and then by 6:45, no sorry 6 o'clock, you have to be in the kitchen. Like if you're like a minute late, then you're yeah you'll have to stay an hour extra just to make up for that late minute.
Oh
So
my
yeah,
God.
they timings really seriously, because that's the time I can't afford to be late at all for service. So yeah, that is something I was not expecting. I thought it's going to be like a really nice, easygoing internship. It was not. It was not. But I think
Because
that is the
it's a resort.
yeah. But I think Sarah, that's a very nice thing, because that sort of instills some kind of a discipline in you, that you make sure you're there on time. That's important punctuality is very important, I guess, in the life of a chef. If you're not punctual, then things, sort of, it's a domino effect. It keeps on going wrong. So yeah, so we used to go there, and my working hours, like, more or less, I used to get done by like 4-ish, 4 or 5. So it was like really long, almost like 12 hours. But in between, we used to get like an hour of lunch break, which sometimes we used to just sit in the kitchen and eat, because if it's too busy, then you don't really get time to go to the cafeteria, grab food.
Exactly.
And so, yeah. But because I was in the place, my lunch was usually just cheese, uh, cakes and red velvet cakes and brownies, whatever I could get. So yeah, I think that was the time that those 6 months for me, I ate a lot of desserts. I had access to them all the time. I say no. I was like, yeah, okay, that's left. No one's gonna eat that. I will. So I
That sounds like fun. That sounds like a lot of fun.
so I think I enjoyed the most during my internship. Other than the learning, that was like a fun part.
So I think the feel that I'm getting is that probably that was the best experience you had working in a professional kitchen. And literally somebody just
I
commented that being on a literally a military training, you can't be a minute late, you have to be there on time, and long working hours, no lunch breaks, or little to tiny lunch breaks, and on your feet. It's very, very it's so tiring. And when we're sitting in restaurants and hotels, we as customers, we never realize how much effort has actually gone into all the work that is coming in front of us in beautiful little plates.
and we literally gobble it up in like what, 10 minutes, and it takes them a long time just to create that pretty plate for us. So it's
Exactly.
yeah, so true. So
Exactly.
true.
So everybody who has just joined us, I'd just like to repeat, we have Chef Taniyat Shehzad today, who's worked at the Intercontinental Fujairah Resort in UAE. She's currently a pastry chef at Skafa, Lahore, and she also runs her own boutique bakery by the name of Inside the Box. Um, okay, so we have a couple of questions. Um, uh, we can maybe come to them later, or there. I think there are some students of yours here as well.
They were a
Yeah,
little excited
and
session.
I can see some of your clients are also here. And Hera here
Yeah.
says your eating routine at Fujairah sounds like heaven. The lunch routine.
Has a sweet tooth for a person who loves pastry, I guess. Yes, for sure.
That's amazing. And there's Sadaf here. She's asking, what was the best dessert?
What was the best dessert there? I am gonna have to say the blueberry cheesecake. I still remember that taste. I mean, if I can get my hands on it right now, I'm gonna eat the entire cheesecake. So the blueberry cheesecake was the best for me.
And Irfan here writes, just goes to show how ignorant one can be where we question people becoming chefs. Exactly, because, we have never ever imagined the long hours, the physical exercise, everything that goes into, in the behind the scenes of that beautiful little plate that we really gobble in like split of a second.
Absolutely. Oh my God, that's so true. And Sarah, you, I feel like it's good that you need to take positive criticism, especially us being chefs. Like if somebody does not like your dish, or they know, or they like, this could have been better, or can you just replace it? Um, it's just like they need to understand as well. I do get it. Customers are always right, but they need to have a little bit of they need to understand the effort that they put into that dish for them. So I think that it's like it goes both ways, really.
Yeah, and also, Tahniyat, I feel some tastes are acquired tastes, you know. So something that I might like, maybe because I like truffle oil myself a lot, and I like to use it in a lot of my dishes. But truffle oil is also like an acquired taste. Not everybody is going to like it. So, you know, when you're actually trying to order something new, just maybe, you know, have a little more open mind and just get into it, you know, feel it, experience the taste, and let it be. A lot of people actually, they just, you know, go like, okay, this is not good, take it away, replace it. You know, you need to
Yeah,
try things to know things.
exactly. That I think that's very important. You need to have like a universal palate, if that's the right word. Like truffle oil, like you mentioned, it has a very unique flavor.
Very,
Not everybody.
very earthy, and not everybody's gonna like it.
And if you happen to put that in your dish and it's like an exquisite exclusive dish and the customer is like, no, no, what's that smell, what's that taste, just kind of breaks your
And you know,
heart,
you
no?
feel about all the money though you just wasted
that,
because it's so pricey.
oh, that's I understand you, I feel you.
So, can you tell me what were like being a female from Pakistan, going abroad for training? What struggles did you face? And especially in
um
this field, uh, was everybody in your family and friends supportive right from the scratch, right from the start? You know, because you had a very different field where you studied, and your otherwise you were studying in a completely, you know, biomedicine. Did you say?
Biomedical sciences, yeah.
So yeah, so you know, that is completely different than what you're doing right now. So were people supportive right from the start? Were people supportive, people around you supported right from the start, or were, you know, were they a little hesitant? And like, tell us about that, and then also mention if there were any struggles you faced being a Pakistani, being a female, going abroad for training, and how did you deal with all of that?
So yeah, that's a very interesting question. I'll have to say, because once I decided to do this, initially not a lot of like my family members knew about it. Just my immediate family, they did, of course. But my dad, my mother, they've always been super supportive of whatever I decide to go for in life, what to do in life, because obviously it's a huge career change. All of like from being a biomedical scientist, I switched to this, but that is purely because I was really passionate about it. And I feel like there's nothing wrong with pursuing a career in something you're passionate about. So yeah, that was like a major struggle. So when obviously my family eventually knew about it, that I opted for the course. So I'll have to say, mashallah, I mean, alhamdulillah, I've been they were all really supportive. So they sort of like, they knew that I really loved it. They had tasted my products, so they were really happy for that. But the struggle part came in when I think like when like your mother's friends and like the circle grew bigger, and all of them were like, oh my god, why did you switch? That's so absurd, why would you do that? And stuff like that. So I had to answer a lot of those questions like repeatedly, like why I had to change my career just like that. But yeah, I think that was one of the major things that I had to face. And your question regarding that, when I went there abroad for training, even during that time, the major struggle I think that I had to face was being a girl in the field. There are a lot of things that you can't really do in the kitchen, right? Like to be able to I know this is going to sound a little silly, but like when you have to pick up heavy and pans and stuff like that. So that is where you really have to rely on somebody else. So that is one of my major struggles that I did sort of face throughout, because I was sort of, people used to laugh at me that, oh, you can't really carry that. You probably will need some help. So I'm like, yes, I will. So that just sort of annoyed me at times, because yeah, that sort of became like a thing, that if I'm to go into the store to grab something like a box of ingredients or something, I used to be like, I had some help regarding that always. So I feel like that was one of the struggles. But other than that, my superiors, I think they had always been very supportive as well. But normally what happens is that if you're new in this field, then people, and if you're like not with a lot of experience of years, so people don't tend to take you seriously. They're like they don't really take your ideas seriously. Then probably this will not work, and they underestimate you. I think that is also one of the struggles that I faced when I came back to Pakistan. Actually, not really there in UAE, that was not an issue, but when I came back over here, I did like a couple of training days at Avari as well, Avari Hotel, and then PC as well. These are like big shot hotels in Lahore. So, oh, I'm sorry. I think the light's gonna be back. Anyways, so yeah. So yeah, the people over there, I think the head chefs, when they see like a graduate coming in and telling them this is how you do things, so they sort of, are taken aback, like, you cannot tell us what to do because you're new, you don't know. We have like 25 years of experience, 30 years of experience, so you cannot challenge us. So that is one of the major struggles which I feel. And then on top of that, being a female in the field, they won't listen to you, like, or like that's.
Because it's
But
a lot of
I'm
physical work. Personal experience, I might be wrong, but I've seen that a lot of the women don't actually pursue being a professional chef because it's such it's such a physical experience. You can't, and then women, then they're also wives and mothers, and they eventually think, okay, this is something that I'm not going to be able to pursue, and it's very, long working hours and so on. So all of my teachers have, most of them have been males apart from one. So I myself haven't seen many female
yeah, same.
chefs.
In this field. Yeah, so have I. Like all of my instructors, and then obviously, even in UAE, all the head pastry chefs, they've all been, yeah, they've all been male, and I think that is challenging in the field itself. That you're when you're a female out there, ordering people around, how to plate, how to make something. So I think that's sort of like a struggle in our in this field particularly. I think in the situation, it's much better in UAE. They don't. It's not really that. I think discrimination is not really that bad there, but
I
here still,
agree.
it still needs to improve quite a bit, quite a bit. That thing regarding like a female chef in the kitchen, that's still, that concept needs to, people need to
Evolved.
be able to,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
evolve.
I think also personally, what I feel, Tanya, is, all the time we have people, newer generations coming up, and a lot, they are so much more exposed to more media, more, so much other stuff that we haven't been. I can, sometimes I just compare myself to my son who's just 6, and sometimes he'd know more about things that I do. So I
Yeah,
think we as chefs ourselves also need to be more, maybe, have an ear out there for views of newer upcomers and new, younger people in this field. So they're going to be ideas that can flow in, and some of them
that's,
might actually be really good.
yeah, absolutely.
And change is always necessary. You can't just stick to one thing and just carry it on.
It's really important to develop new ideas, innovate, be open to different research in this field, because that's what it's about. Like obviously, like even chefs after us, like who are doing the courses, culinary courses and all, they know a lot more than what we used to do, like what I used to do back when I did the course. They are more, they have way more knowledge regarding culinary sciences than myself. So I think there's a lot that you even learn from your students. So there's too much to learn in this field, and you keep on learning. There's no there's
And
nothing
we're
like,
not going to stop eating. That's the thing. People are not going to stop eating. So why should we stop experimenting?
Absolutely. And I think given the fact that even a lot of my customers always they're asking me, what's new on the menu? We want to try something different, and the good part is like some of my clients are like really good friends as well now. They tell me like what I can do with my dessert. For example, a cheesecake. They'll tell me, why don't you flavor it like that? We'd like to try it. So I'm so happy to read like such kind of comments when people suggest that this is what you can do with a particular dessert. And I actually like, sort of think, yeah, why not? That's an amazing idea. So so I'm really always open to suggestions by clients, by people. You never know which might work.
That sounds wonderful, Tanya. We have two people asking the same question. What was the weirdest dish that you ever got to experiment? Or the weirdest combination? Or anything that you even ate, which was really weird?
That's a very good question because I can't really think of anything at the moment, but because I've always
if it comes to your mind, we can come back to it later.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
And also we have Ali Raza who's asking, why do we see such a huge gap between the quality of desserts in Pakistan and UAE, for example? And there's price sensitivity, people are not willing to pay for good quality stuff, or a very underdeveloped taste palette, or what is it?
This is a very good question. That's I'm so glad somebody asked that. Uh, I think, Sarah, the major issue is the ingredients. First of all, I feel like when it comes to the quality of the desserts, in UAE, beautiful ingredients, like fresh ingredients, fruits, you name it, and you'll get it. But here, I feel like we just have a couple of things that we can experiment with, really. And if you like want to get something imported and you get it obviously from some vendor who can import it for you, that just comes into your pricing. Obviously, it's gonna take the price up. Chocolate, for example,
Exactly.
like if you use local chocolate, it's the price of that dish is gonna be way less as compared to if you use Belgian chocolate. But the quality, obviously, the taste, the flavor is going to be much better of the Belgian. And honestly, I'll tell you, if you give the two to a customer, he or she, they definitely are going to go for the Belgian, but they'll expect you to charge them for the local chocolate. How can you do that? That's not really. That is also, I think, another one of the main struggles, but I think all of the home bakers out there can relate. This is something that a lot of us we face, because in terms of ingredients, I, for one, I don't really compare ingredients. You can, you try to use the local ingredients, which is fine, but you can have like a different line, which is what I'm trying to say. That if you want to go for the local ingredients, which is also really amazing, we have some good ingredients. So make like a different line for customers who like that stuff and they can pay that price, and then make like a separate line for
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So you can pitch different items to different customers, whatever they are comfortable paying, and then you also you're comfortable with your costing and everything else as well. So I think that is how we can really go about all of that. Yeah, but the
And
ingredients
also,
is like definitely.
I'd like to add also, Tanya, I would like to add here, I mean, this is the first experience that I've had that we're all under lockdown, and I'm also currently Lahore bound. I'm in Pakistan, and usually my routine is that when I'm traveling for work in UAE, I have, my bags full packed with ingredients. I have my, truffle oils, and I have my acai powders, and I have my chocolates, and my essences, and my vanillas, and, the vanilla beans, and like, I mean, the list is endless. I'd have my Parmesan cheese. I have so much to carry. And this is the first time that I've run out of my supplies. They're slowly ending, and I have no way to get them. Even if somebody else is bringing little bits of stuff for me, it's gotten really difficult. And here, what I've experienced is people expect you to, serve them like dessert that is completely Michelin star level, but they'd also want to pay something they would pay at like a local, very, reasonable cafe. And, you really can't, there is no comparison.
There is no comparison. True, true. And I
I
think
think
there's
our
no point
industry
really
and
explaining
also
it that
people
much.
here need to be educated about the ingredients, about the pricing, about
Yes,
the quality of
yes.
ingredients, and how they make a very big difference on the dish itself.
Absolutely. I think this is again something that people need to be educated in terms of different ingredients, so they realize the worth of it, and they, when they pay the price for it, they don't really feel bad. They're happy that it's worth it once they know what kind of
Exactly.
ingredients you're using. So I think that is something
Exactly.
really to educate people. Yeah, for sure.
A lot of people here are also suggesting, telling that your brownies are the best. So I think I'm going to try those soon, very soon, Tanya. I'm gonna have to order. So, talking
Or
about ingredients,
that's
what are your top most favorite, five top most favorite ingredients?
That's very tough question because I can't really choose five. There's lots more, but if I have to choose five, I'm I'm gonna say my top number one ingredient. I guess from the kind of talks that, like how I'm talking to you right now, you probably know. It has to be chocolate. So number one, I'm gonna pick chocolate because it's so versatile. You can do so much with chocolate.
Definitely.
Like in dessert, making your truffles, bonbons, decorations, so much. I really feel like chocolate is something I love working with, and it's actually on my bucket list as well that I want to do a course in chocolate, like specialize in chocolate. But I guess I'm gonna have to put that on hold given the current global situation. That's not gonna happen anytime soon. But
Let's see.
yeah,
Let's
I
see where that goes.
never know. Fruits, particularly berries. I love working with berries. Now, given obviously, if I'd love to work with a lot more like raspberries, blueberries, but because we can't get them that easily, again, the issue of ingredients not really available here. So I'm gonna have to stick with strawberries. I love working with strawberries. Again, so much that you can do in terms of fresh, cold desserts, warm desserts, ice creams, frostings, sorbets, so much. So I really, because I love the flavor of strawberries itself, really tangy and sweet
Jams,
at the same.
conserves, purees, everything.
How did I forget that? Conserve, strawberry conserve is like the best. So, and that nothing like it. So that's really amazing to work with. Then I'm gonna have to say cream cheese. Again, something that's really versatile. You can use that in savory items, you can use that in sweet items. The other day I actually experimented with it. So what I did was I made my regular chocolate ganache for cake frosting, and then I had some cream cheese left in the fridge, so I thought, why not just add it in and see what it does to the ganache. Sarah, imagine, it just gave that ganache a whole new, different depth in terms of flavor. It was so good. I'm like, I should do that more often. So I just fell in love with cream
Guys, this
cheese
is a
right there.
tip that all of you should remember that
Yeah,
Chef
absolutely.
Daniel has just given out. This is a great tip that all of you should remember.
Absolutely. Like in your chocolate ganache or even in your chocolate buttercream, just add like a tablespoon or two of cream cheese, whipped cream cheese. It's just gonna give it that really nice flavor. So yeah, cream cheese, definitely. Um, then let's see. I think nuts, all kinds of nuts like pistachio, almonds, hazelnuts. So much, again, so much you can do with them. You can
Exactly.
praline, nuts, infuse them in cakes, like make a powder out of it, use it in cakes, macarons. So I think that's again something I really love working with, and also because majorly it's easily available. You can get nuts here all the time.
Yes.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
due to the this. And lastly, I think no, this is something I feel like people tend to ignore. Vanilla. Vanilla extract is something that I feel
Oh,
like people think that a pinch of a little bit of vanilla, you can really ignore that. But no, vanilla is something that is, I think, the most important ingredient in pastry. I'm
and
sure you
also
agree.
the quality, the good quality vanilla. Oh my God, there's no replacement. You know, the vanilla essence that we get here, I want to cry. It
Oh my,
it tastes like a chemical.
I so agree. Like you said, Sarah, you're running out of your like stock of ingredients. So am I. I am in such a fix right. My vanilla bottle is ending like every day. It's coming down, and I'm like, what am I gonna do? I'm my bakery for a while because if I don't have good quality vanilla, then what's the point even? So I'm in like
But
really,
I
I
think Tanya, this is the time for us to innovate also. And
yeah,
like recently, what I started doing is I have started using so many replacements, Pakistani replacements for all imported products. And some may not do as well, but some you will, you'd be surprised. Like I just recently we did this nachos grande with kurkure, as because I couldn't find tortilla chips anywhere and I couldn't
I
find nacho chips anywhere, and they turned out amazing. I was not even expecting such a good taste coming out of this entire Mexican mix, but sometimes I feel just we're gonna have to try and work it through these hard times, and I'm sure they're gonna pass.
I actually saw your post on it and it looked so appetizing. The color is the I felt like I need to just get all of that. I need to go into the screen and eat it. It looks beautiful, really. And I can only
Thank
imagine
you.
it must this kurkure itself, they're nice chips. They're not bad. So,
Yeah,
but it's all about how you that looked really nice. I really wanted to try it.
it
It gave
tasted
me an idea.
really good. You have to try it.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to. But
So,
yeah, I do feel like vanilla chefs out there, like all the young pastry chefs, that is something you need to invest in. Like get lots and lots of vanilla
exactly.
in all forms, crack, powder, paste, and then just store it because that's never gonna go bad, and
Exactly.
you it's always
Exactly. And guys, for those who are watching, those who have actually wasted a lot of vanilla pods after extracting the seeds, leave those pods in your sugar jars. Your sugar is going to start smelling amazing. Don't waste
that's
them.
again that's a very good tip, Sarah. Thank you. I actually sort of forgot about that. Some vanilla, almost like finishing them, so I'm just gonna put them in my sugar. Yeah, that's amazing.
Well, that's what I do usually. I'm a big coffee person. I have all my like coffee
Oh,
stands separate, and have sugar that has been infused with cinnamon sticks, and then I have sugar that's been
ooh,
infused with vanilla pods. So I have like all kinds of infused sugar.
amazing! Oh my God, that's I would love to have a coffee at your place.
You are most
That's
welcome.
amazing.
You are most welcome to come over whenever this pandemic is over, and then we're fingers crossed, hoping really soon. So,
Yeah,
Daniel, somebody also asked a little above. I think they asked which oven would you recommend? Let me just get to the question. Which oven is better for baking, electrical oven or gas? And if you could name any brand.
yeah, absolutely. I feel like electric oven is way more convenient. It's definitely it's the best option to go for because it ensures that the heat is even. Your product, for example, a cake, it's gonna bake really nicely, really evenly. There won't be any, weird tops on the cake. It's gonna be nice and flat. So I feel like electric oven is definitely the best option, and there are like quite a good like quite a lot of brands here in Pakistan. I personally use a Smeg oven, which is an Italian oven, really nice. I've had really good experience working it with it. It's been almost 3 years and it's really good. And then other than that, are a couple of brands. Bosch ovens are really nice. Then Fotile. these are two really good brands of ovens that you can go for in electrical. They're
And
really good.
also, guys, if you're not using them for just home cooking, if you're looking for something like, maybe professional use, maybe look into options, home options from Rational and Unox also. They're amazing.
That's so true. Oh my God, that smile on your face says everything. The Rational is
Just the other day, I was working on a project with the Unox company, and there's this oven they have, which it has 7 shells, and you could like cook a 7-course breakfast all at once. And I was telling my husband, I'm looking at this oven, and I could even sleep in it. Just leave everything, buy me this oven. I could sleep in this oven. So, I think this passion and this sort of love that we feel for our ingredients and our equipment, I think it really, people cannot understand unless you are so badly invested in this field.
exactly, that's so well said, because I think, Sarah, even our priorities have changed. So, for example, if you'll go out shopping, the first thing that I'm gonna go in is in a baking shop. I'm just gonna grab everything chef related, whatever I could find. So, like, I think
Anywhere in
it's
the world you go.
yeah, it's totally anywhere. Yeah, anywhere. Like vanilla extracts, I'm just gonna go there and I'll go all out.
I can completely imagine. I can completely relate, because the moment we are abroad as a family, and the moment I step into like a grocery store, or an equipment, full kitchen equipment, it's madness. And my family,
Madness.
you can all see their long faces, and they're waiting for you to get out of there. But I'm literally there till my credit card is maxed out,
My
and
God.
I cannot get myself to come out.
Yeah. Oh, she's gone now. She probably is gonna.
She's gone. Tanya, this was a lot of fun, a lot of catching up, and so many insights to your life. And truly, it feels like you need to have that passion to be able to go through this tough training, being a professional chef in a professional kitchen, and leaving your family behind, going working abroad, coming back into the country, and teaching others. Just one last thing. I mean, being a Pakistani and then training abroad and coming back and teaching others now, do you feel that being a Pakistani played a role in your culinary, world, or did you learn some extra techniques, or was it harder for you? Was it easier for you? Were there any dishes that helped you out? Were there, any favorites that you could make other chefs try while you were abroad? What would you like to say about Pakistani cuisine and the impact it had on your training?
I think that it definitely helped me out, because when I was there, so a lot of people, like, first thing first, that people expect you to make really good food, which I think is asked of us as being a Pakistani. You must know
And
how
it's
to
an
cook the best.
honor.
Yeah, oh, wow, you can make all the desi dishes that you can for us. So I think that's really good, because the chefs there know that you sort of have a palate for good food, if that's right. That you know flavors, spices. So I think that is something really nice, because then they know that you can experiment with different flavors. You know your flavors really well. So I do feel like it definitely played an important role. But other than that, I feel like when it comes to like global universal cuisine, there's a lot that being here we don't get to learn a lot unless you're in like you can say in a kitchen that's not Pakistani. You get to learn so much. So that is something that I learned in while during my training there in UAE is I learned a lot of global desserts, and like even basic ingredients that you can use, you can infuse in your universal dishes. For example, cardamom. Cardamom is something it's a very I would say it's a very Pakistani spice. Cardamom is a very Pakistani spice.
But it
So
is
if you
so
can use,
versatile.
so versatile, yeah, exactly. Like you can, what I've tried doing that with cardamom is that sort of the seeds, I've made them into a powder and I used it in my creme brulee. And the creme brulee was really nice. It was so fragrant. It was refreshing. It turned out really nice. I experimented with it. I wasn't sure how it will turn out, but the cardamom powder was sort of like the vanilla bean seeds that you see in creme brulee. It sort of gave that effect, but like with every bite it had such a nice refreshing flavor of cardamom popping. It was really nice. So I think there's our ingredients are really something you can do so much with.
And they're
So
so
yeah.
rich. I feel our cuisine is so rich. We are blessed to have so many amazing, wonderful spices and so many different techniques that we've seen in our houses growing up, and we never really pay so much attention because we know it's in the house. But
It's in
when
the
you
house.
go abroad and when you share it with the others, they think it's like God sent, and it's amazing. It's such an honor and such a proud feeling you get there when you bring your Pakistani palate into your international cuisine.
Yeah, because I feel like then you sort of you realize the worth of your ingredient. That is something that while working there, people just like, saying that this spice is so nice, that is so nice, all that we can find here. And we initially used to ignore that. No, it's here. We can use it whenever. But then when people are
Exactly.
they sort of they love it, so you sort of feel like that you need to appreciate it a bit more.
Exactly. Then yet, winding this up, even though we could take it for hours and
Yeah.
hours, and it's so much fun talking to you. But just a last piece of advice for all those home bakers who want to expand, all the aspiring chefs, all those kids who also want to go into this field later in their life. What would you have to say to all of them?
So I'm gonna say that, guys, all of you out there, if you wanna pursue this career, go for it. Like that, there's no questions asked. Just you need to pursue it. Now's the time. So age doesn't matter. No matter how old you are, you're young, you're old, does not matter. There's no like, uh, this field does not see that. So just go for it. And I know because a lot of students, like they come to me and they're like, this field, it's going really slow. There's not much happening. It's not as rewarding. But you know what? Stick to it. It's gonna pay back in volumes. You won't even realize it. Like it'll be there so soon. You'll be there so soon, but you just have to be patient with it. Keep doing what you're doing and enroll yourself in a good culinary institution. Do the course, get out there in a kitchen and explore. It's going to be the bestest experience of your life. So I'm just going to say this to all of those guys out there, girls and guys, just go for it.
Guys, that is such wonderful advice, because just remember, we are not going to stop eating, but we do
Yeah.
need to start innovating.
Yeah. And with every mind, like, I can tell this from experience that all the students, even in a classroom or generally, they all have their own kind of take on food. So imagine if all of them, they decide to open up their own restaurants or home-based businesses. We're gonna have so much variety here. So I think all of you guys, you need to go out there and just do your thing. Start online and then just uh, take it from there.
Thank you, Chef Lanyat. It was wonderful having you on the show. We had so many things in common and we learned so much from you. And it's lovely having you here and listen to your experiences, your struggles, and your advice. I hope everybody who's joined in enjoyed as much as I did, because I know I had a wonderful time. Thank you,
Thank
Chef.
you, Sarah. It was lovely having to talk to you. I know it's a little weird that we were meeting for the first time like this, but I would love to meet up with you soon once the
And we
situation
will.
settles. We will for sure. I'm definitely sending you those brown. You're getting them. Just,
And I'll send you my nachos.
oh, perfect exchange.
We will
So it
have
was
a food
lovely.
exchange.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me, and it was lovely. Absolutely lovely.
Thank you. You're very welcome. Take care.
Good
Bye,
luck.
guys.
Bye bye.
Thank you for joining in. Bye bye.